It wasn't night, but the fog over the small Tenerife airport was so thick, it felt like the sun had been swallowed by darkness. Two massive Boeing 747s, one from KLM and the other from Pan Am, stood on the same runway. No one could have imagined that within minutes, this quiet island would witness the deadliest aviation disaster in history. It was March 27, 1977. A bomb threat at Gran Canaria Airport forced many incoming flights to divert to Tenerife, a much smaller airfield, never meant for such heavy traffic. Suddenly, the narrow taxiways and single runway were packed with jumbo jets, their engines rumbling, waiting for clearance to leave. The air smelled of jet fuel and tension. Inside the KLM cockpit, Captain Jacob Van Zanten, one of the airline's most respected pilots, checked his watch. His duty hours were running out. Calm but impatient, he said to his co-pilot, "Let's get going soon, otherwise we'll be stuck here." Passengers were restless and the crew was growing anxious. Everyone just wanted to go home. The fog outside thickened even more, cutting visibility to almost nothing. Air traffic control could no longer see the runway. On the ground, the Pan Am 747 was still taxiing, slowly searching for its exit. At the same time, KLM received a partial instruction from the tower. "Stand by for takeoff." But radio interference caused the message to overlap with another transmission. Inside the KLM cockpit, they heard something different. They thought they had been cleared for takeoff. The co-pilot hesitated. "Did he say cleared for takeoff?" he asked. Van Zanten nodded firmly. "Yes, let's go." That one misunderstanding would soon kill hundreds. KLM Flight 4805 powered up its four massive engines. The aircraft began its takeoff roll through the fog, tires screeching against the wet runway. The roar was deafening, yet inside the cockpit, the pilots were calm, unaware that another 747 was still ahead of them. On the other end of the runway, Pan Am's Captain Grubbs suddenly noticed faint landing lights emerging from the fog, lights that seemed to be moving fast toward them. At first he thought it was an illusion. Then the realization hit. Another plane was coming straight at them. He yelled, "Get off!" "He's coming." Pan Am's crew desperately tried to turn off the runway, pushing their throttles forward to escape. But the heavy aircraft couldn't move fast enough. KLM 4805 thundered ahead, lifting its nose in a desperate attempt to take off early. For a split second, it seemed it might clear the other plane. But its lower fuselage struck the top of Pan Am's cabin, slicing it open like paper. A massive fireball exploded, engulfing both planes in flames. People near the airport saw only a red glow through the fog, followed by silence. KLM's 248 passengers and crew perished instantly. Of the 396 people aboard Pan Am, only a handful survived, crawling out from the burning wreckage, dazed and covered in smoke. One survivor later said, "I thought I was dreaming." There was fire everywhere, people screaming, and the smell of fuel and death. When rescuers arrived, they couldn't tell where one aircraft ended and the other began. The runway was littered with twisted metal, bodies, and burning debris. The world had just lost 583 lives, the deadliest accident in aviation history. Investigators worked day and night to understand what went wrong. They discovered that overlapping radio transmissions had caused the fatal miscommunication. The KLM crew believed they were cleared for takeoff, while Pan Am was still on the runway, hidden by fog. Captain Van Zanten had been KLM's top training instructor, a pilot so respected that his photo appeared in the airline's brochures. Ironically, his mistake would forever change how pilots communicate. The investigation concluded that pressure, fatigue, and miscommunication had created a perfect storm of human error. In the aftermath, aviation authorities rewrote the rules of flight communication. The phrase takeoff would never again be used until actual clearance was granted. A new training philosophy, crew resource management, was introduced, teaching pilots to question each other, no matter their rank, whenever there's doubt. Today, a small memorial stands near Tenerife's runway. It bears the words, "In memory of those who lost their lives," and as a reminder that clear communication saves lives. Every time a pilot says, "Ready for takeoff," those words carry the weight of Tenerife, a silent lesson written in tragedy. Because sometimes 1 second, 1 word, or 1 misunderstanding is enough to change history forever.